Hello, my name is Vito Bell. I'm a music major going to school in North Carolina. This video is the fifth video in a series of 5 videos talking about the modes of the pentatonic scale or pentatonic modes. This video in particular is about U mode. So throughout this video, we're going to go through kind of 3 steps or 3 phases. The first one is understanding and comprehending the mode more. We'll talk about it, get to know it better. Then the second step will be discussing various practice techniques that work for me and hopefully work for you. And the last, I guess, section of this video will be a optional short guided practice session where I will kind of run y'all through a practice session in my world and kind of what works for me. And after that, we'll be over. So jumping right into things, understanding and comprehending U mode better. So the best way that I have found to understand the pentatonic modes is to compare them to diatonic scales and kind of think of them as diatonic scales with pitches missing. So in this example, we will be using the minor diatonic scale starting on C, just because U mode and the minor diatonic scale both have minor tonal tendencies. They have me and te, they both do. So let's take a listen to the minor diatonic scale starting on C. And U mode. So, like I said, thinking about U mode as being a minor diatonic scale with re and la missing, or scale degrees 2 and 6, is a really great way to think about it. So here is an example of visualizing that. Another great thing to think about is thinking of them as being one note followed by a grouping of 3 notes and then a skip and then 2 notes. So 1 skip, 3 skip, 2. That's one way you could think about it, or you could just think about it being a minor diatonic scale with re and la missing. One additional really awesome tool that we have in practicing these modes and thinking about them is thinking of them using the black key approach. So any of the pentatonic modes can be played only using black keys on the piano. So this example in particular is if you play a D sharp on the piano. If you look down here at the very convenient piano keyboard that MuseScore has provided for us, if you play every black key within an octave of D sharp, you will have just played U mode. So take a look at this keyboard down here while I play this example. Really awesome, isn't it? If you just play every black key starting on D sharp in the octave and back down, then you have the whole U mode pentatonic scale. It's a very awesome practice tool. This is a way that you can quickly find the scale when you sit down at a keyboard to practice it, and it's definitely the way that I practice these. So talking about practicing, let's get right into the second part of this video, which is discussing practice techniques. So in general, when we understand practicing of this mode and really just any of them, is any of this this approach is kind of like training wheels for your understanding of U mode. So whenever you're using this graph or using a piano, the ultimate goal is to be able to understand it and sing it without looking or using anything as a tool. So keeping that in mind, let's move on to the practice discussion. So I kind of have a 3-step practice approach to my practicing of these scales. This helps me learn them quickly and efficiently. I'm sure we all have busy schedules, so this has helped me manage my time right when practicing these scales. So I start off with just listening to it on the piano. So I play it up and down the black keys many times, over and over again. just to get a feel for the scale. I try and hear how it's different from the others. I try and listen to which one it's similar to, which one it's dissimilar to. I try and hear the skips, the leaps, the grouping of notes that are being played. And as soon as I feel like I can understand and hear all of these decently, then I'll move on to the second approach, which is playing and singing at the same time. So I'll sit down at the piano and I'll find D sharp and I'll just sing it many, many times up and down the scale, many times until I feel like I have a comfortable grasp and understanding of the scale and singing the scale. From there, I will either I will start to slowly phase out the piano until I sing it on my own, until I can sing it on my own without the piano. And then that is what I try and do from there on out. So if I practice it at any point in time during the rest of the week, I try and maybe use the piano once and then just look at the music and sing it that way. So we have finished with the second portion of this video. Let's move on to the third portion, which is the short optional guided practice session. So, like I said earlier, I like to listen to this mode a whole lot before I start. Let's just listen to it and try and get the feel of it. Oh, it was a little funky there at the end, pardon that. So, moving on, this time try and hear the skips when I play this, the leaps on re and lay. All right, this time try and listen to the groupings of note 1, 3, and 2. And if I was in a practice session, I would put an emphasis on do, me, and te, just because they're the first in that ascending scale. And on the way down, I would put an emphasis on so and I guess so and do. So, moving on to singing the scale, and at any point in time, you can pause this video and take the time that you need to get comfortable with listening to this and understanding it, and then singing it with the piano. Well, let's take a moment here. If you would like to, you are more than welcome to take a screenshot of the sheet that I like to use. If you feel like it'll help you, you're more than welcome to take a screenshot of this and use it for your own personal practicing. All right, moving on to singing and playing at the same time. Then, so I'll demonstrate this once or twice. Do, do, me, fa, so, te, do, te, so, fa, me, do. Pardon my voice. Let's do that again. Do, do, me, fa, so, te, do, te, so, fa, me, do. All right. Feel free to pause the video and take the time you need to get used to singing that with the piano. All right. So moving on to the last part of my practice session, I like to sing it without the piano. And I slowly phase the piano out using this little technique. So I will sing it with the piano, but I will only play do and so while I sing it. This really helps me double check myself and make sure I'm still singing it correctly with those little checkpoints during the scale. Alright, so I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. Do, do, me, fa, so, te, do, te, so, fa, me, do. One additional thing that I like to do is sing it with the piano, but playing the piano about a half a beat behind the singing. So what that does is it helps me feel like I'm singing on my own while also checking the notes that I'm hitting checking the leaps and making sure that I'm doing everything correct, but giving myself a chance to fall on my face first. I'll demonstrate that for you guys now. Hopefully not the falling on my face part. Do, me, fa, so, te, do, te, so, fa, me, do. If you can hear that, I did play the piano about a half a beat behind myself, and that really helps me feel like I'm singing it on my own while also making sure that I'm not messing up while I'm singing and making sure I eventually land on do again. So that concludes the uh, optional guided practice session at the end of this video, and I'd like to touch on a few more points before the video ends. The first of these points is, just like the piano, this video and other forms of study guides are all supposed to be training wheels for our learning. So the eventual goal is to be able to play and sing and understand all of these without the aid of study or practice tools. So I hope that you think about that while using this study approach or practice approach, or just any of them in general that you ever come across during your music career. Another thing to think about is that you can do this at any point in time of the day. So you could create little flashcards talking about the scales, and you could write on one side which pentatonic mode is the mode that, using the black key approach, starts on D sharp. Or you could say which pentatonic mode is missing re and lay in comparison to the minor diatonic triad. And you could do anything like that, or anything else that you think about, but the main idea is that you could do this at any point in time during the day that you feel you can. Well, I believe that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in your practicing and your studying and your understanding of these modes and others. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Other than that, thanks so much and have an awesome day.